one of the most central components of the value cooperative extension brings is taking research from the university level and making it practical in people's lives, giving them the tools they need to create value for themselves and for the community.
4-H opened up a whole new world for the rural people and the young people in our county.
4-H is a big, important part of Randolph County. 4-H was a big part of my life when I was young, because at the time we had 4-H's in the schools. You had the 4-H's, you had the Boy Scouts, you had the Cub Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Brownie Scouts. You know, you had all those in your schools, but along the years it all came out of the schools, and some of the kids sort of drifted away from 4-H. But we got a push on now where we're trying to get them to come back. So like I said, we've even started one at my church, so a 4-H club. So
one of the things I've learned being involved with Extension is just how much work these agents do in the community. I wasn't aware of half the programs that are being provided. And when you think about which I found Randolph County being #2 in beef production and #2 in the number of small farms in our state, it really puts into perspective the work that these field agents are doing. And you add to that sort of the pressing need for youth development, for health and nutrition, and all the work that the other agents are doing. It is really essential, the programs and services that Extension provides for Randolph County.
Whether it be beekeeping or horticulture or animal husbandry or, I mean, I could go on ad infinitum, but all those things are certainly extremely beneficial, not only to the rural person or to the farmer, but to the person living in town who may just is trying to seek out some information on how to keep a certain kind of plant alive, or improve his yard, or those kinds of things.
In Extension, I learned manners. I learned how to be, you know, the person that I admired among these other people. And then my mother would say, "What'd you learn today?" And so I would go home and help her, teach her some things, you know, how to set a table correctly, the manners when you eat, and that type of thing.
The farmers and the people in agriculture here are very dependent upon cooperative extension for many reasons, but mainly I think for the technology and the advances that they receive from NC A&T State University and from NC State University. And a whole lot of people who grew up in the city like I did have no idea how to do this, but they want to learn how to do it. Oh, what better place to come to than cooperative extension, where you do have experts who know how to show people how to economically and in a very, very small way sometimes have a small garden that can feed their family. The best place to learn that is here.
This was one of the nice things about serving as our state president, is I did visit all the areas of the state, and I got to know the people that were in the leadership positions in our organization, and that's very nice to know. It really is, and it also made me really appreciate more what the Cooperative Extension Service does and what they provide for us. We also do programming for communities and for families and for any group that really, we look for issues that need some help, and that is the thing we like to do. I've been a member of this organization for 50 years, and this year I am proud of the fact that I'm a homemaker.
We need to do everything we can, not only to encourage existing agriculture, but and preserve rural land masses, but also to encourage young people to see the potential to maybe choose agriculture as a vocation.
Cooperative Extension serves as a clearinghouse for all the people who are involved in agriculture and answering their questions and showing them the new technologies that can make their farming more efficient, right? Produce more crops at a less cost, and to make them safer and more nutritious.
helping people, that's the main thing, because like I said, some people don't know what to do, because people don't realize agriculture covers more than just farming. You have the business side of it, you have the research side of it, and a lot of people don't realize this, but in North Carolina, 17% of employment is through agriculture.
The things that we do are are practical things, but they are the things that are very necessary in grooming families and in keeping families healthy and in teaching families the things that they need to know to progress in life and to be good citizens.
By continuing to do what we're doing by educating the children, just like I was, who developed that love and can pass it on. That's the secret, is the children of today and tomorrow. And it's up to us to do this, and we want the children to know, because Randolph County is such a big county, an agricultural county. We want them to know the products that are produced right here on the farms, rather than go into the market and that's the only place, the grocery stores, they think these things come from. But to see the process that we go through of production of vegetables and the poultry and the beef cattle that are on their tables.
The 100-year mark is a perfect time to both celebrate and then, while looking back, think about the future and think about the role that Extension is going to play in people's lives in the next 100 years. And I think some of that is going to be the same, and I think some of it's going to need to change to adapt to the way our lives have changed. But essentially, the value that Extension provides has remained constant. If anything, it's grown more important and more critical to the way people live today.